office building. What could hold so much terror inside? What could cause such fury inside this seemingly innocent, regular, everyday office building? Welcome to Read Your Life Like a Psychic, and I'm going to use my own astrology chart as an example of how you can learn to read your own chart. I'm using my chart because I know it well, and hopefully I can show you how to put the puzzle pieces of your own chart together, and you can learn to read your life like a psychic. So let me tell you a little story. On the 2nd of this month, July, when the Mars opposite Pluto was exact, we picked up my brother from the airport, me and my mother and my son and we went to lunch. And at that lunch, I mentioned that I was very upset with the person I work with, my boss. And I mean, I really was very, she pushes my buttons. Just no. This person pushes my buttons, and I'm slow to anger, but I was really pushed to this point, and I was really upset with her. And I said, I'm this far from quitting. And I said, this far from quitting. And my dad said, oh, you're gonna quit again? And that was it. There was an explosion of anger on my part. So I knew even before I got to the lunch, I was like, okay, my Mars is riled up. I'm going to have to watch it. But with this opposition with Mars and Pluto, I wasn't able to contain it. So here we have the Mars and Pluto opposition right here. So we had Mars at 18 degrees, I believe. Yes, 18. 18's Cancer to 18 Pluto. So this occurred in my 7th and 1st houses. The 7th house is about relationships, which includes business relationships. And the 1st is about me, myself, and I. So, and also Mars is the ruler of my midheaven here at 10 degrees Scorpio. So it would make sense that it was about business relationships or career relationships that I was having the problem with. Added into all that pressure of Pluto being the volcano. Pluto is often likened to a volcano, all this pressure and stuff coming up from underneath. This aspect sets off the Pluto-Uranus square. So here we have Uranus here. We've got Uranus here. And we've got Pluto here. And we had the Pluto-Uranus squares from 2012 through 2015. So June 2012 through March of 2015, we had this Pluto-Uranus squares where they made exact squares during that time. They're separating now because Pluto's at 18 and Uranus here is at 28. So it's not exact anymore. But what happens is we have smaller planets that will come through any of these points on the cardinal cross and they'll set it off. So in this case, Mars, which is the god of war and anger and, pushing and drive, came through and it set it off. Now, furthermore, this Pluto-Uranus square hit my ascendant at 15, and it also affected my north node here at 10. And then now that Uranus has moved further along, it's been sitting on top of my Saturn. Okay. And then there's other aspects involved there, but just know that this Pluto-Uranus square, hit a lot of my stuff, and it's calling for me to transform in a very big way. So I've been living with this since 2012. And this Pluto here, this Pluto always brings up a sense of powerlessness, and I feel like I can't do anything about stuff in the face of change, or just in the face of the way things are. I feel like I can't change it, okay? But it's like I have the Mars here, in this case, that was really pushing hard to change something. Oftentimes with oppositions or with any aspect in astrology, other people will show up that bring this planet to life, or they personify this planet. So in this case, Pluto, my father always comes up as the Pluto, and that kind of brings up the Star Wars metaphor, where it's like Darth Vader is often likened to Pluto, where it's like, Luke, I'm your father. Well, my father always shows up as Pluto, saying, you can't do it. You can't do it that way. You can't do it the way you want to. Okay, here I am, Uranus. I want to do it a new way. I want to be my independent self. I want to be my revolutionary self. And my dad's like, no, you can't do that. You can't do it that way. It's just how that dynamic gets personified in my chart. So, this is kind of like a fight the power. This is like a fight the power. The Pluto Uranus is a fight the power aspect. And then, it shows up in my chart as a fight the power aspect, and it shows up as a fight the power aspect in regards to my career. It's a lot of it has been around my career, and I could ramble on about that right now, but I'm not going to. Just know that the tarot cards that it brings to mind are the Seven of Wands. And that's one of, if you go through and you figure out which cards relate to you, it's the Seven of Wands. For me, it's the Seven of Wands. So here we have the Seven of Wands in the deck that I made, and we have Bob Marley. And so that get up, stand up for your rights, or a little stronger, NWA, fight the powers that be. This is the Tarot Illuminati depiction of the Seven of Wands. So you can see this guy he's having to defend his position. And we've got the Seven of Wands again here. Defend your position. Take a position and defend it. So that's the Mars-Pluto opposition. Now, is it over? No, it is not over. Let me erase. Okay, it's not over, because the Sun is going to move in the same position that Mars was and oppose Pluto. So it's gonna come back around, and it's gonna hit this square, and it's gonna trigger again for me. So, yay! I'm excited. Can you tell I'm being sarcastic? And then also we've got on the 17th. Mars will exactly square Uranus down here, which I kind of covered up. And then the Sun will square Uranus, and that's on the 20th. So that means we've kind of got the same energy cycling through until the 20th of the month. So I will keep you posted on how that turns out for me. So if you have any questions, post it in the comments. I hope I made this clear. Look at where this opposition, let me erase it again. Look at where this opposition is showing up. This Mars, Uranus, or Sun, not Uranus, I don't know why I keep saying the wrong planet. This Mars, Pluto, or this Sun, Pluto. Look at what house it's showing up in for you, and then I'll kind of give you a clue of where you might feel like you need to fight the power, or where you just feel really pent up and frustrated, or where you feel powerless. And then you can stop and think about, okay, how has that played out for me since 2012? Because it's kind of an echo of that same energy is coming up again, and it's wanting, you need to deal with it. So stay tuned, and we will have more of these. Read your life like a psychic. Bye for now.